I popped down to the supermarket the other day to buy some bleach. I don't go to the supermarket that often because, well, I don't go there really to buy any food anymore because, well, we know the processed food is not very good for you, and some of the vegetables in the shops are a little bit dubious, what with this strange stuff they put on the fruit and veg, and also the lack of minerals because of the industrial farming techniques that they use. So it's rare that I'll go buy food from a supermarket. But anyway, I popped in there the other day to get some bleach, shoved down the loo. And as I approached the door, there was a bloke, a very strange looking bloke in a shabby Mac, and he had his camera in his hand, a camera. And he had one of those old fashioned bulbs, that would flash. Whoa, blimey, that's a bit blinding, isn't it? Anyway, there he was. I was about to go in. He said, hang on a minute, mate, hang on a minute. I said, well, what's the matter? He said, no, I just got to take your photograph. I said, what are you got to take my photograph? You going in the store, are you, mate? I said, yes. He said, well, in that case, I've got to take your photograph. Do you mind standing over there? That's it. Now, hold still, smile, that's lovely. I said, hang on, just before you take that photograph. He said, what? I said, why? Why are you taking my photograph? I didn't ask you to take my photograph. Oh, no. He said, it's all right. It's just policy. Nothing to worry about, mate. Now, if you could just stand still or take your picture. I said, hang on, hold on. What do you mean it's policy? He said, oh, if you're going in the shop, we just have to take your picture, that's all. I said, why do you want to take my picture? Just told you, mate, it's policy, isn't it? It's policy now. Would you just hold still? I said, no, you hold still. You hold still a second. You're going to take my picture just to go in the shop? Why is that? You never used to take my picture when I go in the shop. Oh, it's perfectly legit, sir. Perfectly legit. You see, we just want to make sure, you're not a criminal. I said, well, I'm not a criminal, actually, as it happens, so to speak. You can go and check me out on the police database. I'm sure they've got a version of something. I've not been arrested and I'm not a criminal. Oh, yeah, but you could be a criminal, sir, so I need to just take your picture. I said, are you taking everybody's picture? He said, oh, yeah, we've got to take everybody's picture. I said, oh, well, what about that bloke there, then? You haven't taken his. Look, he's just got in. So he suddenly got in a bit of a fluster, this bloke in the dirty old Mac, and he said, oi, just a minute, mate, just a minute, come here. And he went chasing off after this other chap, so I just slipped in, you see, unobserved, which was very handy. Anyway, I went round into the supermarket thinking that's all a bit bonkers, isn't it? Taking a picture with these great big bulbs sort of blinding us as we go in. I thought that sounds just very silly. Anyway, I found the bleach, I put it in my basket, didn't really need anything else, wasn't tempted by all the other colourful things, and I went up to the till to go and pay for it. And as I approached the till, I noticed there was another chap in another equally mucky old raincoat. And he was there, he says, oh, just a second, sir. I said, what's the problem? He said, I just need to take your picture before we use the till. I said, well, you are joking, aren't you? You want to take my picture before I use the till? Oh, yeah, it won't take a second, sir. If you just stand there nice and smile, sir, smile for the camera. I said, no, I just want to buy this bleach and then I want to go. That's it. He said, well, you can't buy the bleach unless you've had your photo taken. I said, oh, don't be ridiculous. This is silly now. There's a bloke at the door. He said, did he take your picture? I said, no, he didn't. Thank you. He said, oh, I'll have words with him. He's supposed to have taken your picture. I said, well, whatever. Anyway, I want to hit. So I can't remember how much the bleach was. It was like 99p. So I said, well, I'll just pay him for this and I'm going. He said, no, not until you've had your picture taken. I said, well, hard cheese, mate. If you want me to have my picture taken, you won't tell me why exactly. And some rubbish about whether I'm a criminal or whether I've been in prison. I said, I'll take my business elsewhere. He said, well, you do what you damn well like, sir, but you're not buying that product unless you've had your picture taken. Of course, actually, none of that really happened. Not in the way I've described it, of course. I did go to the supermarket and I did buy a bottle of bleach and I did have my photograph taken. Only there wasn't a man in a Mac with an old-fashioned camera and a bulb that blinded you. The camera was very secret. It was in the roof. It was peering down at me. It took pictures automatically. Nobody asked you. Nobody said, do you mind if I take your business? Nobody gave me the choice about having my photograph taken. It took the picture. As soon as I entered the premises, or before I entered the premises, boom, there it was, that picture. My face was on its database. And then as I went to the till, of course, there's another camera hidden within all of that, and it took my picture, so it knew what I got. And this is very worrying, because this is actually happening in this country in this time. I thought for a moment, you know, I was in China, as we've seen how the Chinese regime works, don't we? We've seen how locked down they are, and how the communist state is making sure they're corralled into various different places and all of that. And I thought, but we're not in China, we're in the free West, aren't we? Aren't we? That's what I thought anyway. But then I realised, no, I have had my photograph taken and going to the till. So in the end, I didn't buy this thing. As soon as I saw the camera, I thought, no, bother this, I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to support a regime that is taking our pictures. So now online, I'll leave a couple of links to this, because I think there's a UK company called FaceWatch, and a number of companies, Spar, I believe, the Spar shops, and the Southern Co-op shops, and I think Sports Direct, and many others are using this system. It's all, of course, it's all there for our benevolence and our protection, for our security, because the world is so full of criminals. Every little corner, every side street, every alley, there's a criminal down there, apparently, you know, waiting to bash us on the head and do us over and steal whatever we've got. And so these cameras in the shops are absolutely necessary, because that way they can capture them. I mean, we've never had them before. We didn't need people taking our photographs just so that we could buy stuff. In the past, we were innocent until proved guilty. Nothing had actually happened. Unless you've actually stolen something and put it in your pocket and walked out, you hadn't actually created a crime. But now you're being suspected of a crime before you even enter into these shops, and this is a bit mad. There's another one in the United States called, I think it's called Clearview, and I think you can find it at clearview.ie, funnily enough, which is a curious address if you don't think about it. AI, I think it's AI as opposed to IE. Yes, Clearview AI. Anyway, there it is. So it's a very curious thing. So what can we do about it? Well, the answer is, of course, not to support these places. Don't go and buy anything from them. If you want your photograph taken as you go in and out, that's up to you. But I want to know what they're doing with this database of all our faces and knowing what we do. You can imagine in a system in which, say, central bank digital currency came in, that suddenly your social credit could be allocated to your bank, and then if they didn't want you to buy anything, they would know where you're shopping through some biometrics. That's what it's really about, isn't it? It's biometrics. It's gathering the data. So I say, go to the small independent shops. The small independent shops who actually are run by small family businesses, not big corporations who are sort of getting into the deep state and want to surveil us every 2 seconds. Buy your products and whatever it is. And if they don't have it, the little corner shop, the little tiny independent shops, if they don't have it, ask them to get it in. Ask them to get it so that they grow and expand, and the bigger corporations and the big supermarkets wither on the vine and die.